there! Today's video is all about what I made and mended in the month of March. So I had set out with, I think, like 7 ideas for what I wanted to make this month, and it all ended up looking very different than what I had planned, and I feel really good about that. Initially, like through the month, I was feeling like, oh, I'm not really like getting anything done. This just like doesn't feel like I've got any like sewing wins happening, but seeing everything up here, like I have a bunch of toiles, I have a bunch of mending projects that like just needed little tweaks. So yeah, I didn't have like giant sewing successes, but this is like all part of the journey, and toiles are necessary. Definitely taught me a lot. So yeah, a bit different than I expected, but still really good. So I'll get into it. So I'll start with what I'm wearing. These are not necessarily pieces I would put together as an outfit. It's a little too beige for me together. I think on their own, like they'll mix and match with my wardrobe really well. But I paired them together because first off, they are the only two of everything that I have to share that was actually on my March menu. So I wanted to do that, but then also they are both my 4th iteration of each pattern. So this is the Helen's Closet Dawson top, time number 4, and this is my 4th Forget Me Not Natalie skirt. Now, you might think that if it's the 4th time making the same pattern that I would have the fit like totally dialed in, and that is not the case for either one. So this is, yeah, like I said, the Dawson. It's my 4th one, but it is my first time making it in cotton jersey. So I've really liked how fitted the pattern is and how it feels in the cotton bamboo mix that I have made it up in. Like it's fitted, but it just kind of like skims my body. Whereas this cotton jersey, I definitely feel more like compression almost. It's not uncomfortable, like I think it fits as intended to, but yeah, like through the bust and really particularly through the back here, I I just like feel it. I feel the fabric on my body a little bit more than I want to, and I think it looks fine. Yeah, it's more about the feel. It's really cozy, so I definitely think like on chilly days to layer up with this t-shirt will be really great. Um, but if I make it again in cotton jersey, I'll definitely like let out the sides a little bit. The sleeves are fine, which is good because I really don't like a tight sleeve. So this is fine. But yeah, again, in the body, I would just let it out a little bit. And then the opposite is for this Natalie skirt. Now, each of my other Natalies I have also made in a stretch woven, which is not what it's for. It's made for a regular stable woven. And I've always just like sized down and then taken out a little bit like through the back. But it wasn't quite enough with this corduroy, and I'm not sure if like the recovery is just not there, because I did try it on as I was making it and I made like little adjustments here and there. This skirt is really great for fitting because it has all of the panels. Yeah, so there's 2 panels at the front and 2 at the back. So it makes for, yeah, 3 seams in the back to kind of like pull things in, which for me, that is where I need to pull in or let out, but you could also of course do it like through the front or through the sides. So I did that, and I even fitted it like with the waistband on. Thought I made the adjustments that I needed to, but then by the time I got everything sewn together and the buttons on, it had definitely like relaxed quite a bit more. So it has like a good probably like 1.5 to 2 inches extra that I didn't really want. um, yeah, so good thing that I can wear a belt with it, and I'm really proud of the way that I kind of like figured out how I wanted the belt loops to go. On my last one, I really struggled. The pattern just has you top stitch them on. You just kind of fold in the ends and top stitch them to the waistband. And luckily I was with a friend and I could use her sewing machine because my machine was not having it at all. And that fabric was like not even as thick as this corduroy. So I determined that I would split the waistband and fit the belt loops in like in between the skirt and the waistband, and then in between the inner and outer waistband, and have that like fold over. And I think it worked out really well. I'm really proud of how I kind of like pseudo engineered that. Yeah, I'm not starting a career as a pattern maker. It's not that big of a deal, but I was still like happy that I was able to kind of like piece it apart in my head, kind of like what is that called? Like backtrack through the construction steps and make that happen. So they sit really nice and flush, and yeah, it's a good thing too because I need the belt to kind of cinch everything in and keep it like up on my waist where I want it. But I'm really happy with it. Overall, again, like the fit is not perfectly dialed in, but you know, my body could change like tomorrow, so it is what it is, it's fine. But I wanted to say like my favorite thing about it is putting my hands in my pockets because I didn't line them. I just used like the same fabric through and through. It is a little bit bulky, but I think it's fine. But putting my hands in the pockets, like I just feel like I'm petting a teddy bear. Like it's so soft and cozy. So I know I will get lots of wear out of both the skirt and the top, even if they're not quite what I thought they would be. Okay, the next two I'm not going to try on because I did put them on in my last video in my winter makes. I finished them before March 20th, so they went in with my winter stuff before official spring. So this is the Friday Pattern Company square neck top. This is a toile, and I'm really excited about what I learned during this process, and yeah, what I will take into my next iteration. And then this one is the Friday Pattern Company Adrianna dress. And this one I did quite a few more adjustments to. I felt like I was kind of taking a shot in the dark with the sizing, but I ended up sizing down and then doing a 2-inch full bust adjustment. And it worked out really well. There's still like a couple little things that I will change next time. I will add some length through the elastic. I will lower the front neckline a little bit more. But yeah, this was my toile, and I didn't think it was even going to be like a wearable toile, but I'm not even going to like rush into the next one. I was planning on wearing it for a concert that we're going to this week, and I think I'm just going to wear this one because it turned out like really great. I didn't think that the fabric was that great. I actually bought it as a toiling fabric from a market a couple years ago, but having it like all sewn up in this, I don't know, it just really works, and I'm excited, and I'm gonna wear it to our concert tomorrow. So we have a familiar fabric here. I had bought 2.5 meters of this viscose, initially with the intention of making a dress, but I like suddenly got the urge to make this square neck top, and so then I had like the perfect amount to cut this Helmi blouse. Now this is my like toile slash pattern test version, and normally I wouldn't share about a pattern test before like the big reveal, except that the Helmi blouse is sort of like already out in the world. It was released in Tauko Magazine, I think issue number 3. So that was like last spring, I think. So it is officially like the design is out there, but now the rights of the pattern have gone back to the original designer, which is Jo of Forget Me Not. And so she is not reworking the design. The design is staying the same, but she's added some features. She's grading it up in her block, which includes 3 bust cup sizes. Amazing. She's doing all of her own illustrations and instructions, so that's really great. I'm very excited. So if you want it, like, it is out in the world already, but if you want to hang on like a bit longer, it's about to get even better. if I say so myself. I do work with Jo and I think she's fantastic. But yeah, so I was hoping this would be my like wearable toile, and unfortunately it is not, and it's totally my fault. So I was attaching the collar and I did not pay attention to the seam allowance. Jo is really great in her instructions. Like, she puts the seam allowance at the beginning of every step, which I find so helpful. It's one of my absolute pet peeves when you can't find the seam allowance in a pattern instructions. Drives me nuts. But I just wasn't paying attention. And so I sewed on the collar and was like, wow, this like really doesn't want to fit in there. Like, I wonder if my fabric stretched. I wonder if I did something wrong. Oh well. And so I clipped my curves like all the way in, and then realized like, oh, it's supposed to be a 1 centimeter seam allowance, not a 1.5. So I unpicked it and I sewed it to where it's like supposed to be, but those clips definitely extend like past the seam line. And like, it looks fine, it's all under the collar, that's fine, but I'm pretty sure, because this is like a really fine viscose, that as soon as I wash it, it's probably just gonna like disintegrate. So that's sad. But yeah, lesson learned. Read the instructions. Don't just watch your show and go on with your day. Yeah, so that was very silly. I am really happy with how I swapped out the sleeve binding for, I did a facing and put in some elastic. It has quite a curve to the end, so I didn't just want to like hem it up. I thought that would be unnecessarily difficult, so I just drafted a little facing, stuck some elastic through here, and I'm really happy with that. I'll definitely do that on the next version. But yeah, I'm quite happy with like the little Peter Pan collar. I will say, it's the first time I've ever done a collar on a blouse, which, you know, you'd think if it was the first time that you're doing something that you would read the instructions and pay attention. But I was watching season 3 of Dead to Me all in one night, so that's where my priorities were. So moving on to some things that I mended this month. This is the first one, and it is a blouse that I made years ago. I think it was the designer stitch KeeLin. So it comes as a blouse and a dress, and I toiled the blouse version thinking I would make the dress at some point. Never did. But I made the blouse and I loved the way that it fit. It was great. I put it in the wash, and despite having pre-washed the fabric twice, it shrunk so much. Like, it was a regular like hip length blouse, and then all of a sudden it was like way up here. And so I was like, well, that's ridiculous. And I don't even know why I kept it. But I did for some reason. And I pulled it out of a box recently. Yeah, we've been doing some like going through the house stuff. I pulled it out and was like, I'm just gonna try it on, like just for fun. And I was like, actually, this kind of works, because like I wear crop tops now and I wear like a lot of high-waisted things that I didn't used to. So it tucks in like just fine. All I did was I fixed some of the binding that had gone a little bit wonky, and I took the elastic out of the sleeves because they were like short and tight. So now they have kind of this like bell situation. They don't lie like parallel to the ground. So I'm gonna wear it around and see if that bugs me or not. And if it does, I will, yeah, either just like level them out or maybe bring them up and like redo the elastic sleeve that the pattern intends it to have. But I think the bell sleeve like kind of works with the tie-dye fabric that I used. It was like left over from Paul's aunt or something. Like, I'm not even sure how I got it. I definitely didn't purchase it, but yeah, it ended up in my life and I'm quite happy with it. I feel a little cheeky sharing this one. I did mend it and I did change it, but the change was really, really small, but it made a big difference like for my wardrobe. So in the same box that I found this top, I also found this t-shirt. It is a super old tee, like from, I think it's from Old Navy, and it used to be my favorite t-shirt. So I pulled it out of the box and was like, why is this in here? I love this t-shirt. I immediately put it on and I like wore it around the house and I got ready for bed and was like, oh, that's why it was in the box, because it has like a big hole in the belly. Like, that's not wearable. But then I was like looking at where it was and I was like, actually, could I just like cut it off? Could I just like make this a crop top? And so that's what I decided to do. And luckily I have another ready to wear crop top that I really, really love that has kind of this like little swoosh hem. So I literally just like took them both downstairs and I just like cut along I just like laid the other ready to wear one over this and I just like cut along the bottom. So, and I hemmed it up. That was it. I added some interfacing over the hole. For the most part, it's like tucked into the new hem and I think it looks great. Again, like, I mean, I'll wear it as a crop top probably like with shorts in the summer, but for now, like tucked into either like high-waisted jeans or a skirt, I think it looks great. It probably took like 20 minutes total, and most of that was like applying the interfacing to the curve of the bottom. Super quick, and now I have my favorite t-shirt like back in my closet. So very excited about that. The other super quick mend that I did was this here. So I had just gotten this in January. I think this is like possibly one of my best purchases of the year. I will definitely get another one come next winter because it was basically like my uniform. I think my cost per wear on this item, I did not track it, but it's probably like 5 cents. Like, it's so great. It's just a Columbia like little puffer vest, but I had burst through one of the princess seams in the back. I'm pretty sure I was like hunched over and like, yeah, really like extending that back for like, you know, long periods of time. And so I burst one of the seams here and yeah, again, it was like a 10-minute repair. It sat on my sewing desk way longer than it needed to because yeah, it was super quick and suddenly I like got to wear my favorite vest again. So my last make for the month is also my first make in the Carnival of Cardigans series. I'm doing a little comparison of 3 different cardigan patterns. So this was the first one, and this is the Helen's Closet Blackwood cardigan. Now I will give like the pros and cons and kind of what my sewing experience was and all my thoughts about the final garment a little bit later, but I did think I would come on and just share it as a little sneak peek. So that is everything that I made slash mended this month. What I actually ended up with was definitely different than where I thought I was going with my plans this month. But again, I think it really worked out to slow down and do some toiles, do some mending. It maybe was not as like quick fix satisfying as I like for my sewing to be, but I'm excited about what I learned in the process and like how I can take that to future makes, especially like some of the great information I got from the toiles that I did. That is going to be really helpful. So yeah, I think it was good. I think it was good. I don't think I'm going to be doing a April plans video. I am going to be starting this week with the Seam Work Design Your Wardrobe course. I did it back in the fall and it was really, really helpful. I definitely learned a lot about myself and kind of answered like some bigger questions about where I was wanting to go with my sewing, both in like practice and with what I am wanting to make. So they ask a lot of really good questions and I'm really excited to kind of take you along the way with me. It'll kind of be forecasting more for like general spring and summer rather than like month by month, but it's gonna be really fun. I'm really excited to make some mood boards and like do some, yeah, palette making, lots of fabric swatches. So Yeah, I'm really excited about it. It'll start this week. So yeah, I'm not gonna do a specific like April plans, but I'll be continuing to work on my cardigans. I've also got an idea about doing a dress pattern comparison. I have, yeah, I won't say any more about that right now. So I still have some like stuff to kind of get in order, choosing fabrics, maybe picking a third pattern. Yeah, I'm gonna just stop talking about that for now. But yeah, thanks for watching. I love getting to come on here and share with you and chat about what we're making. So yeah, if you want to tell me all about what you've made in March, please do. You can either do that in the comments or you can find me on Instagram. Yeah, and then you can show me what you made. Always the best. So yeah, that is everything from me today. Until next time, happy making. Bye!